Hello and welcome to this recap review of Westworld Season 2 Episode 5. So finally we are now into Shogun World for almost an entire episode. So initially I was curious as to why we had that recap with Hector's heist in Westworld from Season 1. But shortly after we find out an obvious refresher to the scripted events that Hector and Armistice used to complete just to refresh us on that scenario, because we see it all again in Shogun World. So some new information that we have confirmed with this episode, fresh out of the mouth of Lee Sizemore. So Shogun World is created for the people who found Westworld too tame. Lee Sizemore is very knowledgeable because he's written most of the stories in here. So the fact that the Shogun hosts didn't flip to speak English speaking when Lee spoke proves to him that the scenario that Ford has created in Westworld is affecting Shogun World also. So we already assumed that, but it's kind of good to get that from a character within the show. I thought it was comical and interesting character development. So the new hosts, who aren't exactly the same as the hosts we already know, but they have similar motives and have been designed to perform the same story. So the Shogun double-ups, or doppelgangers if you will. It was quite funny. So we have some new big characters who will perhaps be around for a good few episodes. So we have Hector's doppelganger, which is Musashi. So he no longer serves with the Shogun. We have Akane, the doppelganger for Maeve, Armistice, and Hanario, and Sukara and Clem. I probably really butchered those names, but anyway. So they replay the heist from Season 1 of Westworld. So it was pretty much scene for scene. But ultimately, at the end, it took an unscripted turn and we see Maeve and Akane off to save Sakura. So on their way to save Sakura, whilst it seems insignificant within the episode, I'm sure it will have dramatic consequences in the future. But Lee grabbing that phone or the walkie-talkie from the corpse. So now he can call for backup or try to get help. But no more on that with this episode. So I really enjoyed the new setting of Edo period of Japan. Some fascinating characters. Two main takeaway points that I took around Maeve and how her story is going. So she seems now to have mastered the ability to control without voice commands. So this is incredibly powerful. We see her destroy an entire base of Shogun warriors. So finding her voice, as she said. I also found it very curious when Maeve tried to free her counterpart, so Akane, but it really failed. This scenario may play out differently now if she tried again because she lost her Clem or she lost her Sakura. But will she join the team? What features do the doppelgangers have as well? Will they be friends or will they be enemies? It's going to be interesting to find out. Now on to Dolores and friends. So we see them revisit Sweetwater and start prepping the train for what looks like a kamikaze attack on the Delos base. So they're refitting the train, they're stripping it down for speed. So Clem has an interesting part in this. She seems to remember her lines. Well, it's a very stirring scene, even after she's been wiped, so she still has fragments of her loop there. It was a very, very cool scene. And as for poor Teddy, so when Teddy said to Dolores, next to the tree, he said, we have the ability to walk away free. I knew he was in trouble. So what I thought initially with Teddy is that he got wiped completely. But if you look closely, you can see he has a heuristic update. A new way to approach problem solving, learning or discovery. So initially I thought he may get a full wipe or possibly get a emotional increase such as anger and strength. But it seems that this is really a move to try and help convince Teddy to understand his scenario and his place in the world. And the final scene I will mention was the actual very first scene. So after the intro credits, we get a look at the main complex again. So this is the timeline that is the most advanced out of the entire show. So when Charlotte meets up with the recovery team, so that's Carl Strand and Ashley Stubbs and Bernard as well. So very dark, ominous scenes, always with that futuristic synth track in the background, almost suggesting impending doom. We find that they are dredging that ocean, so clearing out the bodies. They're almost 50% complete. Then they will drain the valley, so we will get to see what is below the surface. Also with the hosts, they're cracking them open to see if they can reprogram them. But they seem to still be unaware of the scale or enormity of what really occurred. I think they have yet to really join the dots of the whole scenario, but that's clearly what they're trying to find out. And they are all still looking for Abernathy as well. A bit more information on the status of these dead hosts that they're pulling out from the ocean. So the engineer said what's unsettling is about a third of them look like they've been wiped. So nothing's in there. Look, he says they're like virgin. Never held data to begin with. Carl Strand saying, well, we've just lost a third of our IP, because also their data center that was holding this information seems to have been set on fire as well. So very interesting. So the mystery of the lake still remains. What is at the bottom of the lake? How did all the hosts die? What happened to all that data from a third of them? So in this timeline as well, where is Dolores and where is William? So many questions. Hopefully we'll find out soon. So very good episode for the character plot lines. It seems to be interesting as well. We seem to be getting a trend of episode styles. So we get events within the park from the hosts. Then we kind of get the next episode, which is the human angle. So next time we'll get that. So Bernard telling the human angle point of view. Interesting that. Is there a bit of a trend here? But anyway, I shall leave this here. So I hope you enjoyed this little recap. I will aim to do a theories video this week. There aren't too many specific plot points to theorize on this week, but if you have some suggestions, put them in the comment section. I'd love to read them. And also, I'll mull over this episode for a day or two as well. But until next time, this is Mesh, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe for future content. Until next time, this is Mesh, and I'll see you later.